On policy, we're moving out of that and going to the Costa Rica Sea Turtle Ecology Program.
We talked about that already.
So we talked about it. Do we need to talk about it anymore?
No, I think we should wait for the policy's recommendation.
Okay. Next one is Board Superintendent Retreat Follow-Up.
Wait, are we gonna do
Are we
community
gonna talk
relations? That's another policy and general personnel.
Yeah.
Those are, as you can see, pending
Pending.
discussions in November. We haven't done work on those yet.
Who wrote this? Is this us or?
That's the IASB.
IASB.
Yeah, they're using literal trade names in here?
That's why they got the R there.
Yeah, well, I know that, but I mean,
Okay.
this includes but should not be limited to.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is Board Superintendent Retreat Follow-Up, Dr. King.
And also November, we're gonna discuss, community relations.
Is that 890?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that on there. So
Yeah,
that's
we're gonna
pending
look at-
discussed in November.
Where
Maybe.
does it say that?
It says
On
right
your
there,
agenda.
pending to discuss in November. Look at your agenda.
Well, I'm looking at the actual.
Look at your agenda, this agenda here.
5:125 and 890 are saying
Your agenda.
Okay,
discussed in November.
okay.
Okay, my question on,
Okay, hold on, listen up.
go to page 2.
Page 2, okay?
No surprises, one knows, all know.
Where are we at? We lost you?
There's a contradiction here I want us to clarify.
Okay.
It says, a board member should include a do not reply forward alert when emailing a message to more than one other board member. That means
Yeah.
2 or more. And then the next line says, board members should not reply to or forward email received from another board member. It's my understanding from that meeting, there's nothing wrong with
One-on-one.
one-on-one discussion, just like you're having a phone call.
But there is a problem with, if I send it out to all the board and you respond back to me, that's a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, but in other words, if I want to email Laura, and she emails me back, and we have a discussion,
There's no
nothing
problem
wrong
with
with
that.
that.
No, but if Laura sent out, don't reply to me, to all the board members, and then all of a sudden you reply back to her, that's a discussion that's.
So Tim, what's this language? Is this contradictory, or?
I would say it's contradictory.
Well, should that bullet point then be
You're a
expanded?
good reader, John.
Odd.
I think that bullet point should be expanded that says
But-
received from another board member that was sent to all the board members.
Right.
I think we cut and pasted this right out of our policy book, if I'm not mistaken.
We probably did.
What
That doesn't mean it's there's
2:140.
board communication.
To what?
2:140.
No, because the other stuff is clarification. The bullet points are clarification.
I think that was taken, Mike,
I think
if you
he's
could
right.
look, I think it was taken right out of our board policy. That's why it's abbreviated and has the bullets.
Mike's got his little thing.
Here's, what do you want me to?
Board members
Says-
should not reply to or forward email received from another board member.
I don't think that's.
You know what, I think, Kevin, it might have been in the information we got from Todd. He also provided this information on that. We can clarify it, though.
Yeah,
So which
that's-
bullet do you want me to look at?
Number 2.
Board members should not reply to or forward email received from another board member.
But I guess it means only sent to, which has been sent to all other board members. So I want to clarify that individual board members can have an email conversation.
Correct. So like a lot of times when Mr. Walsh sends questions, if you responded to that or started to talk about that question to another board member, you have to watch that you're not talking about board business via email, because the original question spurred from
Right.
a board member CCing all the board and asking.
But if I have a facilities question with Tim, I can talk to him about
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I
But,
just want to make sure that's clear.
but Kevin was, all right, Kevin was correct. It is in the policy. So maybe we'll look at that.
It's in the dash E.
Well, that's we still
The
adopt
exhibit.
it's in the exhibit to the policy.
Number 6 of the exhibit says, board members should not reply to or forward email received from another board member.
Because if you got an email from Tim and then forwarded it to another board member,
I think
it's like you're conducting board business.
That's right.
I think it's a misstatement. I think you can reply if it's one-on-one, but what you can't do, which is still a violation, like if if Matt sent us all an email, what do you think about, I
Yeah,
don't
you
know,
can't miss that.
Mountain Dew at the meetings?
And I would
should
say
we have
you've
it-
gotta keep it, so.
And I pass it to Gary, I say, okay, pass it to Gary, but, you know, you can't
start a train.
You can't start a train and avert the Open Meetings Act.
All right, anything else on this one? We'll look at it with policy to see if we need to revise it.
Okay, just so it's clear that.
But you can call or email an individual board member. and
So
talk
Dan,
to
if I
them.
email you something, you can email me back.
Right.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, let's move to the next one, gate admission.
Okay, I'm just gonna hand real quick, here's just kind of how it came up. My admin and her husband, their daughter was playing volleyball here at the school, and then they watched the freshmen, it was free.
Is this separate?
Yeah, just kind of an FYI. They watched the freshmen play volleyball for free, and then their daughter finished, and they had 15 minutes before all the kids were gonna get back in the bus and go back to their Ridgewood school. So the parents said, okay, we'll stay here, we'll watch the seniors play for the last 10 minutes, and then, you know, the daughter will get in the bus and everybody will go home. And there was somebody at the gate charging wanted to charge each of them $4. They said, well, that'd be $8 for us to watch the last 15 minutes of the senior team, just so we can hang out till our daughter gets on the bus. So, you know, they just left. And then I had come with her and I looked in the gym, and there were only 6 people in the gym, and somebody sitting there for who knows how much, taking money. And so, if you look at this chart, we've got 19 sports, only a few key charge admission at the gate. Well, we could bring it up another time, but we were talking about community engagement. You know, I had swimmers, our regular swim meets, there was no fee. You could come in, watch your swim, grandpa could come, the neighbors could come, anybody could come. It was a way to get the community engaged with the school. Conference meets were different. We charged and people knew that. So maybe we bring it back up again, how we're engaging our community. Do we need to charge for, it's just random that we charge for these 5 out of 19 sports. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Does
Okay, we
the-
got 19 sports and we randomly charge. And I think we're alienating some people. So that's it.
Well, can we get a report on this thing, or maybe Art can talk about it? It's not a bad idea.
These are the sports we charge for.
Yeah, the ones I starred, right, from Art's, right, but Art didn't tell us all the ones we're not. And so we've got 19 sports and we randomly charge for the ones I starred according to Art's.
Yeah, but
Well, there may not be a random.
you're not gonna charge for golf. I don't know how you're gonna charge for golf. Soccer, I don't know if you get enough people in the stands to even be worth putting somebody at the gate saying, hey, can I?
Yeah, well, we had 4 people at that volleyball game charging, and we were gonna charge our visitors $8 for 15 minutes, so.
I think, but I mean, I've been to a couple varsity volleyball meets, it's usually pretty well attended, so I
Yeah.
think that's why they chose the sports that have.
Is it the evening ones, or maybe we say we'll charge for evening ones that are more attended? This was, so.
What time was it?
Well, a lot of these, like we play
4
off
o'clock.
we play off campus, like softball and badminton, we have sometimes at other sites. Cross country's at another site, golf's at another site.
Tennis, you don't have stands to put people in, so,
Right, you could just basically walk up.
and track and field is all over.
So the only one I would say is the possibility of soccer, but I think you already mentioned the size of the crowd and the amount of people that pay.
Well, you know what, I think she, rather than explain it, I think she brings up a good point. You know, whether, you know, again, maybe the revenues are such that, I've asked the same question even when swimming with a conference, you have to pay $30 an hour for somebody to sit there, and I wonder if we even take in more money when we're doing it. But the other thing we added, we talked about it with the boosters, so people could become boosters, by the way, and not do this, but, you know, now these parents, at least, who want to come see their kids play, they're paying $75 to have their kid, or maybe if they have a couple, $150 to play the sport, and they have to pay to watch them too. So I think she's asking a legitimate question that, you know, maybe Art can come back and say why it is these ones.
I think last year we charged for soccer, and we were
Yeah.
paying someone $60 to collect $10.
Yeah, it was,
So I
you go in the
think-
stands and there was nobody there.
I think
Right.
based on our prior experience for soccer, it wasn't cost effective to have not only one person on the East Gate,
sides.
but another person on
So
the
the other gate.
Rockefeller
Yeah.
Gate. And,
And plus you have people coming in from the Washington gate.
yeah, so,
So it's just, where like in football, you're gonna get the crowd. And then basketball, you know what I mean, so.
So maybe those two you say we charge, it's worth, because we get a lot and whatever,
Well, even
but,
volleyball, you get a lot.
no, there was 6 people there.
For
and
the
we had-
season.
And we had, or maybe certain games, but we had guests here, we were gonna charge those guests $8 to watch the last, I mean,
here,
Really?
Laura, we shouldn't be trying to fix a problem. We should be identifying the problem, ask them to look into it and get back to us. But the fact that you went there one time and there was these 6 people, that's really not what we should be here talking about, I don't think. I think we should be saying, if there's this perceived problem, we ought to tell them to, hey, we perceive this problem, come back and look into this.
well, had I not gone there that one time, this problem may not have come up, but, I mean, there
That's
is
fair
tension, because I've had swimmers, Mike, and we've never charged people to watch the swimmers, and it engaged parents and neighbors with the high school and the community. But some of these things, when we're charging people, we're pushing people away. And if you're talking about people being engaged to the school, you know, you're never gonna pass a referendum with only the school families.
Well, I support her idea. Can we have Art
I could
take a
find
look?
out why.
The other thing is we asked, is
Right.
there a conference policy on this, or schools
The
left?
only
to
one
their
that's
own
the
devices?
state regionals and sectionals have requirements that they charge
Because
them to split the
IHSA
gate,
has to
yeah.
rule.
Yeah.
I could find out, I'm pretty certain it's because of just average attendance rates.
Right.
Okay.
We can get a report.
That's
I mean,
not hard.
The volleyball games I've gone to have had the very large crowds,
Yeah.
so it was a
Well, my
different
daughter was in volleyball,
experience.
and
So,
I would see
but we
those
can
crowds.
find out how much they took in for the, you know, what the gate receipts were for the games that they've charged. I mean, that's easy enough.
All right, so we'll have Art find that out and then come back to us. Consolidation, Ms. Ruska requested that this item be on the agenda.
I want, just very quickly, it's with the board resolution, so can I address that when we go through this real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll
The
combine
board
it.
resolution.
So then, the next one is, we're gonna skip legal services because that'll be in closed session. We'll talk about the IASB resolution.
Okay, so did everybody had this report to the membership, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at the delegate meeting, there could be up to 800 people in that room. Every board gets a vote. And if you've read that, there's a check sheet here, and it's the, you know, the desire of this board, if you know, how you want me to raise the paddle, for or against, you know, how they say. So we can just check that off real quick. If you say, well, I agree with them. If you don't, and you say, well, we're gonna give you words to go up and try and persuade the other 800 people to vote with us, that's fine too.
So why don't we do this to help you out? Everybody has to turn it in, you give the date when you wanna have it checked off, yes or no.
Oh, did you check yours?
I will.
You will.
I'm listening to Matt.
So what we'll do is we'll check it and give it to you, and then you know what the majority of the board would vote for on that resolution.
Okay.
And then because you're a representative that's gonna be there with the paddle going yes or no.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions on those?
We got this at home.
Right, so, you know, my only thing, sometimes, the ISB has not recommended preschool, just, you know, comment there. Some of the reasons, preschools are very expensive, and if we recommend that the state make them mandatory, that would be a tax increase, because the ratio per teacher, special bathrooms, there's whole things, so to make that, and that's why ISB keeps saying, do not
But Mike,
adopt.
here's my question to you. Me as a board member, looking at the resolutions, should only focus on the resolutions that affect me as a high school. Would you agree?
No, we have to vote on all of them,
Okay,
yes.
And in there, they give you a summary of what the IASB is recommending.
okay.
So
Right.
if you look at the bottom, it says they recommend adopt or not adopt.
Okay, then what do you want to talk about
Okay,
consolidation?
so in consolidation, it has been, they bring it here, their position is position 15. Now, if you notice, because where our district falls is exactly what the ISB supports.
No, they don't.
No, but the ISB does support consolidation of community schools. Look at the underlined words.
says
ISB
do not
does
adopt.
recognize that consolidation in an element, no, look at the underline. ISB does recognize that consolidation in an elementary school district and a high school district located in the same community to become a unit school district can enhance the education of all students within the district. And they bring out in Downers Grove there, that unit district. We fall in that category, and the ISB is not opposed to that. What they're opposed to is that the state randomly saying that this many people should form a district without the educational background. Yeah, down to 300. So the ISB says, we don't want you randomly forcing this just to get it down, but if you're in a community like RB with one high school and Feeder Elementary, yeah, that makes sense if it is the decision and desire of the community. So
Well, I
think-
gotta tell you, I don't read this the way that you're explaining it. I read this 180 degrees to the way you're explaining it, Laura. The school district that recommended Wheaton Warrenville wanted to insert language that says,
Right,
let me finish, please, that the ISB recognized consolidation of school districts with, like a unitary district with the same community. And they're adopting, do not adopt the policy, and part of their rationale is the ISBA uniformly has opposed these consolidation proposals and has challenged the tax relief assumption on which the legislative proposals are based.
no, if you read the whole, right here and above, it says the rationale, right up there, General Assembly, during the last several months, the representatives who sponsored these proposals did so because they believe school districts, particularly in downstate districts with small student population, would promote operation and administrative efficiencies. So this paragraph explains their rationale why not. But they say in 2 places in this document that they do support things like what they underlined. Like in a community where you have an elementary district and a high school, ISBA says they're not opposed to that happening. But they don't want us to, they want us to say do not adopt because they don't want the state forcing us to consolidate.
Okay, so let's tell the board when they're doing their voting for this resolution to make sure they read it all the way through and reflect what they want.
Right, and so my conversation is, to bring that up, I wanted us to look at this consolidation issue because now it has, the state has got their task force, their task group together. We as a community are ripe. If somebody's just looking at us and the state has that authority to force us to consolidate, they would say, well, you have one high school with feeder schools. Look how many districts they could take off the books if they made us all come together. Now, I have no opinion, but if you look at our circumstances, we're in a very small geographical neighborhood. We've got Riverside, we've got North Riverside, and we've got Brookfield, and then we have the 3 different junior highs that all come into one high school.
Let's not forget Lions.
And Lions. I mean, it makes sense if anybody was to make a rule.
Laura, just do me a favor, though. When you read it, this is under the section 15 under amended existing positions. The part that's not underlined is a current position.
Right.
And Warrenville is trying to add what's underlined, which is saying the ISB supports our type of consolidation, and the committee is recommended do not adopt
Right.
it. They don't want the ISBA to make a statement that a consolidation would take place in our neighborhood is beneficial. That's what they're saying in there. So I think you need to, I suggest maybe read it closer.
All right.
But on your other issue, which we talked about before, is, like other things, I don't think we can just leave a blind eye to it. I mean, somebody, at some level, we probably should have some kind of discussion with the 3 feeder districts on what their thoughts are on it. And as we talked about before, as much as we just oversee what the administration does, this might be one, it might be worthwhile, asking Matt or one of the board members to make some contact with a board member in the other school districts instead of asking the superintendent to have to do that, since one of the reasons consolidation supposedly works is the savings, and it's what the state said, is you cut a lot of superintendents. That's how you save money.
All right, how about I do this? Kevin and me will set up a conference call, or we'll meet with each of the school districts by the end of the year.
No, what we're saying is it shouldn't be in the superintendent because it's a conflict
All
of
right, then I
interest.
will
Well, it's
meet
okay
with the
with me if
presidents.
he's willing to do it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will meet with the presidents of each and talk to them about this.
That's a good idea.
I think that's a good idea.
When do you want your resolution votes into you by?
Well, we just need them by the,
Well, give me a date.
the meeting.
So what do you want?
How about everybody checks this?
Because you have to tally them.
How about everybody checks this off and brings it to Laura on November 11th?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fine.
let's do by 11th,
Fine.
no, November
The
11th.
next board meeting.
Okay, and then I will meet with the school board presidents of the surrounding feeder districts. I will have that done before the first of the year, how about that?
Wonderful.
Is that a wonderful plan? All right, the next one is visitor statements, and I think we ran them all out.
Bob.
We waited them out here, so unless Bob Skolnick has anything to say, can you get Bob Skolnick on the line here, just to show him a picture that we have somebody here? All right, so we see no visitor statements, let Bob, you want to talk?
No.
Okay, we're gonna move to a closed session, can I have a motion for closed session, please?
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, or dismissal of employees, collective bargaining issues, and litigation.
Second.
Okay, so I have a second by Mike Welch, a motion by Dan Moon, second by Mike Welch. Marion, take the roll, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna come back in can you guys get broken down by 5 minutes? I'd like to thank everybody for tonight, can you focus cameras on me? I'd like to thank everybody tonight for listening to this long meeting, but you see that a lot of items got accomplished, and a lot of discussion. It'll help you show that we as a board are really trying to move this district forward. I thank you, good night, sweet dreams.